Hello, my sweets, and welcome to an episode of Death and Faeology. This is a demo that I saw showcased, and I've been actually really interested in checking it out. What is your name? I get to pick my name. My name is going to be Aurelia. That was fast. Let's see. Grading first year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent science, only a couple decades old. This university, the only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. It is still barely acknowledged in the academic field. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices and misconceptions. The human world has formed its own notion of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a very big sigh every time I read references to poison apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. A reference to the Cottingley fairies is one I can understand, since it was quite the sensation not too long ago. Although it would be clear in the eyes of renowned Faeologists that the photographs were mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. I'll just take a break. The grading session today has taken me quite a tangent. My beloved Oz. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds through trills that I've learned to interpret over the decades I've known them. The Cottingley fairies again? Yes, and princesses' eternal slumber due to poison apples. We don't care much for human princesses. But making poison apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Fae folk is capable of more than that? At the same time showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit that same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you. Chances are high those people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since then. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. I can hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of a fairy possesses some magical quality. While you're on break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Henkel's letter. Thank you for reminding me. I retrieved the letter from my patron from a desk drawer. Let's see. I lean back on my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Aurelia, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Leo's Gala? You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of whiling away an evening with champagne and canapes and invigorating company. And when I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old sods with deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Blech. Do write to me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know. My delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the looks from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying chirp is decidedly indignant. I nod to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Henkel's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. If your old friend Detective Krause hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened. I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. I would have telephoned Ruthie and asked what the story was, like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. I resume reading my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have the two of you been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. I couldn't help assuming that his persistently frosty treatment of me might have had something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in a rather bitter taste. As you've told me more than once, when it was good, there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours Everlasting, Oscar Henkel. Well, I've kept Mr. Henkel waiting long enough. I press a pen to a fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged himself in a heartbeat. I put Mr. Henkel's letter in the drawer before calling out, Come in, Minnie. My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. Professor. Yes, Minnie? Were you talking to yourself again? That's right. You know me. I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought while hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees when it comes to being an assistant. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here. Who? That police detective from the newspapers. Police detective? Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who made you crumple the papers and toss them in the trash can? In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. Detective Theodore Krause? Yes, that's the one. Knowing Theo is here makes my world go momentarily off kilt. It's as if, by the magic of the fairy tales I malign, the ink in my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of the campus or something? That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter this man? An astute question. She is truly wise beyond her years. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. All right, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. He drops a box on my desk right off the bat. What is this? Why is he in my office? Well, well, look what the cat dragged in. Not even a how do you do? What, do niceties suddenly mean something to you? I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye. There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later? At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it? There is a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel the piercing, icy silence creeping in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box? He lets out a deep sigh that rather sounds like relief. Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafted handkerchief you love so much. That handkerchief was a gift for you. I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He's lying. What should I do with this information? What should I do? Respond in disbelief. I'll check the box. I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, yet he is just as fast in catching my wrist before I can open it. I withdraw my hand from his grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I've forgotten what his hand feels like. I was only kidding, although you really haven't changed much, have you? He just went straight for it. He sounds amused and slightly pleased, as if he just confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Bitch! I will drop-kick that pretty face. Neither have you. I threw all of it away after you vanished, he says with a subtle squint in his left eye. Another lying tell of his. I can't help beside his antics. Of course you did. So what's really in the box? Want to take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence. I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest of my career. And to come to me of all people. You must be at your wit's end about this. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again. Called it. Gee, that stings a little. So why would you... Hold on a minute. You think this has some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Oh my. It seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to a heated discussion and then into arguments because nothing I could say could change his mind. Because nothing I could say could change his skepticism towards mythical beings. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, though it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone through to get here. What should I do next? Do I feel like being a gremlin, or do I feel like being diplomatic? Asshole? Or to not asshole? That is a question. Yeah, I won't be an asshole this time. I know this must be hard for you, but I can't help you if you don't say anything. He sighs. You're right. As difficult as it is to admit, the things you told me before about fairies and whatnot might have helped... Might have helped to make sense of this case. But I have to say, for the sake of my sanity, I still don't believe they exist. Fair enough. He appears pleasantly surprised by my answer, as though he was expecting to quarrel, I can English, right around the corner. Little did he know, I've learned that it's moot to try to explain the otherworldly beings to him. So, what makes this case so significant? Why do you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a... I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt out of the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation. And I've known you for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You've got it. So, tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be of paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case, potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. They're from old money families, the types that make regular appearances at high society events. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death... He pauses. This is where the fairies came in. He silently stares, then sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. You got this. Now he draws in a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. The strangest case is the one where the body seemingly hardened into bony tissue overnight. Her corpse almost looked like it her corpse almost looked like a carved wooden statue. Oh, I've heard of something like that before. Of course you have. I frowned at him. Don't start now. He clears his throat abashedly. Without finding out what caused these deaths, and more importantly who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on the victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making a razz of these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of depraved, sick bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes. Crime's becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. It's no way to live. Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rising crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet I am unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victim's background, having these murders being exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible, no matter the cost. No matter who's to blame. You're right. Innocent people are going to bear the brunt of this. This is a terrible situation. I feel my stomach churning. My arms cross on instinct, trying to hold my own disquietude in place. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlifes in high places. He exhaled sharply, his voice laced with contempt. Then he fell into silence yet again. Similarly, words seem to have abandoned me, as I can't shake this feeling of helplessness crawling under my skin. After a minute, he meets my eyes once more. Well, you're a good listener. Better than most. He curls his lips into almost a smile. I don't mind at all. Thanks. He clears his throat once more. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple of blood samples which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics was puzzled too by the blood samples. How so? One of them doesn't contain iron. That's interesting. Nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity, I'd bring up something from my fairy books, but you'd always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poison that somehow caused these oddities, but I'd be a fool to not go after my hunches and look into all possibilities. What about robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. And motives? Revenge? We're still interviewing the city elites, looking for the possible motives, but it takes time. You know how it is. Yes, of course, they're very busy. Speaking of city elites, I know people who can be very helpful in getting some inside information. His expression turned sour at full tilt. Who? That man? I said people, but yes, that man would be particularly helpful in this matter. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even at the first meeting with Mr. Henkel, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Henkel feeling off and always hated it whenever I had something to do with him. Though it might just be jealousy in disguise. You know I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society. And I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this. Why, of course. He's always got a soft spot for you. Hell, he's probably carrying a torch for you. He's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he followed you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow its development. Look at you, all ready to defend him. Or what, are you to an item now? I might have steered this reunion back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Henkel, but it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else who would have that much information about high society. Besides, there Besides, there has never really been anything, even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time. It was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Henkel. I don't have the time or the energy to argue with him. What should I do? Try to make him see reason? No, because it's arguing. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, I will tell you what the nature of the relationship is, and you can either pick it up or leave it where it's sitting. It's up to you. We are not anything. We go to fundraising events from time to time, but these are work. I've got to get money for my research from somewhere, you know. Our relationship is strictly business. He gives me a dirty look. Sure, I believe you. No, he doesn't. Besides, what I do with him is none of your beeswax. His voice becomes even more irritated. That's right. It's not my concern. Do whatever you want with him. Just make sure he can keep his mouth shut about the case. I can't help but groan at this turn of events. I will. While we're on the subject of useful allies, you mentioned before about blood that doesn't contain iron. I can take the blood samples to the university's chemist. She's good at what she does. And she's from a rich family. She might know some of the victims or their families at least. I'll trust your judgment. I take it this is you agreeing to help with the case? That's right. There are lives at stake. He lets out a soft smile, as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful, you can even ask the people you mentioned what they know using the evidence items. But the case files are for your eyes only. Understood. He has fallen silent somehow, leaving an uncomfortable hush in the air once more. Suddenly, a realization comes to mind. Does this mean you'd be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things. The culprit, their methods of murder, and their motives. Supported by evidence, of course. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthly one, for now. Fair enough. I'd wager that we have approximately 24 hours to get some sort of answer. An answer that makes sense. I can feel the papers are close to getting the story. While you're investigating this lead, I'll look further into unusual drugs and poisons. How about a Faeologist? Do you dare take on this challenge? Do I? I'll help even without being challenged. Accept the challenge. Game on, sugar tits. Bring it on, detective. This brings a grin to his almost consistent, brooding expression. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. I promise, but I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. I ought to get going. Maybe this will be an opportunity for you to increase Faeology's credibility in the eyes of the academics. Maybe. Seems like some detective has been following the tiny part of Faeology in the newspaper. Says you. The one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting in the headlines. How do you... Before I could finish, he walked towards the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. I hear the door close. Hey! I exclaimed with a hint of frustration. After some thought, I realized he must have noticed the missing newspaper on my desk and my assistant's. Reading papers was part of my daily routine when we were together. I can only shake my head in disbelief. He hasn't changed much either. As I'm reminiscing about a few moments of our past relationship, Oz reveals themselves again, now that we're all alone. And that was quite the reunion. It was quite the reunion indeed. He hasn't changed at all, has he? No, I suppose. Although, you don't have an obligation to help him. I know. But I've already agreed. Very well. Just don't overwork yourself. Yeah. Thanks, Oz. I find myself slowly drifting into thoughts. A victim's manner of death, hardening into bony tissue, could be one of the fairy curses. Ossification. If only I could ask Oz whether a fairy was behind this and which one, but it is not that simple. Even if they are my longtime companion, fairies have their own rules about exchanging favors, and they are secretive about their land too. A favor like that doesn't come cheap. At least I'm stocked up on milk and honey for small requests. Speaking of requests, I should get started on a reply to my patron's letter. For some reason, he seems to be more insistent this time that I come with him to the gala. I retrieve a paper and a pen and mumble to myself as I write. Upon signing off, I seal the letter with wax. I then turn toward my trusted Fae. Oz, can I please trouble you with something? You want me to deliver this letter to your patron, don't you? Indeed. Time is of the essence here. As always, please take care not to catch anybody's attention. He'll see it by tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Oz. I'm off. I'll see you later today. I watch as Oz flits out of my office window and vanishes. Once the Fae is gone, I call my assistant to my office. Yes, Professor? Hold on one second. I rifled through the contents of the box. Carefully, I extracted the blood samples that Theo mentioned. They appear to be stored in test tubes. Would you mind asking Dr. Rayford to analyze these blood samples? I'll do that, sure. As I hand the samples to her, I notice she looks like she wants to say something. Over the 2 years we have been working together, I picked up on a few of her tells. What is it, Minnie? How did it go with the detective? If you don't mind me asking. Oh no, not at all. He's the same as always. There's lingering beef, of course, but we've sort of managed to put it aside for something more important. He has brought me a rather significant case that he suspects might have some supernatural elements, as hard as it was for him to admit it. Huh. Good for him. I can't help but grin at her remark. I'm glad it didn't end in a shouting match, at least. Yeah, me too. I'll deliver the blood samples now, Professor. Thank you, Minnie. Minnie hurries out. I'm alone in my office again. Remembering the conversation about the case, I am suddenly engulfed by unexplainable eerie feelings. I swear I can read. I swear I know how to read. I should start the investigation right away. Oh. Drag and drop items from the inventory to the desk. Select an item in the records. I kind of expect to read the insights you've been gathered. Seeing blood. Ooh, black light to see invisible things. Nice. Read the encyclopedia to gain. Please case file 1 record. Actually put you back. No. Oh, wait, I'll use black light. How did they say open the book again? Damn it. Opening it. Oh, okay. Never mind. Alright, I got it. Okay. Audrey Woodbridge. Susan Moore. Insights you've gathered. Oh, okay. I have gathered no insights yet. Apparently. The first victim's crime scene. This is the first time I encounter something that could be ossification. I feel sick to my stomach. No one deserves to die like this. Something is odd with her fingers. What's wrong with her pingies? Okay. Okay. This seems to be the second victim's crime scene. Her complexion, it's not quite the pale hue of death. Far paler than should be possible, almost drained of color. Something's odd with her fingers. Baby, why you got 5 fingers and a thumb? Hold up. You also have 5 fingers and a... Okay. 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 I'm getting it now. Third victim's crime scene. Her fingers. I've seen corpses before, but never like this. There's another strange thing about her fingers. She has too many. This is the fourth victim's crime scene. Poor girl. It's a cruel thing to see youth being stolen so abruptly. Okay, so you're a human. You're a human, and the rest of these are... The rest of y'all are... black light. Okay, I can't seem to be weak to black light. I wonder. If I use... Okay, no. That doesn't say anything. Okay, that doesn't do anything. It has to be probably like actual items. Wait. On an item imbued with fairy magic, okay. Warrior fairies, parasite fairies. Haha. Oh, changeling. Wait, a changeling is composed of several fae, typically of the parasitic type, magically transformed to look almost exactly like an abducted human. Due to the complexity of the fae magic required to create a changeling, the enchantment almost always goes awry. Anomalies common among changelings include an extra finger or an extra toe. Boom. So these are changelings. You are a changeling. And you are a changeling, but you are human. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Alright. How do I add this? Okay. Alright. We're learning. It's fine. Read the insights that you've gathered. See details in it. End investigation. Okay. So I can end the investigation and let y'all know. So these are changelings. Let's see. The crime scene photograph of the first victim displays her in a manner of death. Seems to be something strange about the victim's fingers. Yes. Strange about the victim's fingers. Yep. There's nothing odd in the photograph because Mary is human. The other three are changelings. Oh. There was more I needed to look at. So this middle-aged woman in the collared blouse is the victim. I guess this elderly man in the suit is her father. The elderly woman wearing the cardigan is her mother, I suppose. This bespectacled man is perhaps her brother? Okay. Middle-aged woman with the pearls is the victim. Elderly man with facial hair is her father. Elderly woman with a fur coat is her mother. The other man in the darker suit is maybe her brother. Everybody has normal pingies. Never seen a coin like this before. It looks rare. I wonder. Black light. Uh-huh. What's happening? I've seen this before. It's a parasitic fae. A failed transformation magic? Well, you go there. Okay, so nothing. I've seen this makeup powder somewhere recently. It's from Nectar Bell. This must have belonged to one of them, but which? I wonder if the owner likes the box. The owner likes the box design and carrying it around in her pocket since it's already used up. Perhaps the chemist has some interesting insights since her family owns the brand. Oh. Good to know. Actually, hang on, check this. My patron invited me to this event. I'm still uncertain if I want to attend. Okay. A wedding ring. Seems to be made out of gold. Does it now? This is looking very fayish to me. Can be made out of gold. Okay. Alright. He's black light. The ring is mostly valuable with some red chase of magic. Invitation. Beautiful cosmetic eyeshadow box adorned with gold accents, butterfly motifs, and a beautiful lady on the cover. This Fae is of the parasitic class as confirmed by the violet traces visible beneath the black light. It also shows some traces of red. Susan Moore and her family. Audrey Woodbridge and her family. So, Audrey and Susan, I do believe, are the ones who were whisked away by the Fae. Yes. Mary's the only human. Oh wait, this belongs to... This is Susan's. So I take it that was... Wait, hold up. I don't think she's wearing... Yeah, she's not wearing the ring. She's not wearing the ring in this photo. Official hair is her father. Other woman is her mother. Darker suit may be her brother. Yeah, it might be. But yeah. Miss Moore is not wearing her... Susan Moore, age 40 years old. Manner of death, refusing to drink anything but her own blood. Time of death, around 11 a.m. Victim profile, an affluent, middle-aged woman of the city. The victim's mother reported that the victim was suffering from a prolonged paranoid episode in the days leading to her death. Specifically, the victim was acting erratically and saying strange things. Despite the manner of death, there are no signs of dehydration or hemochromatosis. No traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Note, blood does not contain iron. Oh, should have put that away. Audrey Woolridge, age 51. Hardening into bony tissue. From afar, the corpse looked like a carved wooden statue. Time of death, around 1 p.m. An affluent middle-aged woman of the city. The victim reported hearing strange noises and seeing strange phenomena in the days immediately preceding her death. Then the interviewing officer suspected, due to the victim's strange behavior, involvement in occult matters. No traces of drugs or poisons from what could be extracted from the body. Further autopsy is still in progress due to the victim's manner of death. Woolridge. Now that's a familiar name. And then Niblet, age 64. Gnawing her own fingers down to the bone. Time of death, around 10 a.m. Victim profile, an affluent middle-aged woman in the city. A friend of the victim reported that she visited the victim's residence to drop off an invitation shortly prior to the victim's death. The friend also wanted to check on the victim's well-being, as she had allegedly been acting strangely at a party the night before. According to the friend, she witnessed an emotionally charged conversation between the victim and a young factory girl. However, the friend didn't think much of the interaction at the time. At the crime scene, the invitation card dropped off by the friend was seen close to the victim's corpse and was taken in as evidence. No traces of drugs or poisons. Blood type unknown. Other blood-related investigations are underway. Blood does not contain iron. Let's see. Mary Hatcher, age 19. Oh. Death from shock due to arsenic poison. Arsenic poisoning. Time of death around 6 p.m. Victim profile, a young factory girl. Despite not fitting the trend of the previous victim profiles, she has been preliminarily included in this case because she was seen having a heated conversation with the third victim shortly before that victim's death. The victim's father described her as not acting like herself in the days before she passed. Shortly before her own death, the victim visited the police station. According to the interviewing officer, she seemed to be on the brink of confessing something when a look of terror suddenly crossed her face. She then appeared to change her mind. She hurriedly left the station without saying anything further to the interviewing officer. Prior to death, the victim suffered from violent abdominal cramping followed by diarrhea and vomiting, consistent with the effects of arsenic poisoning. Traces of said poison can be found in blood type A and the glass she was drinking near the time of death. Blood contains iron and other elements commonly found in human blood. Wait, are you sure you want to? Yes. Because I think we have everything we need. A knock on the door makes me glance up from my desk. I realize the sun has set and while I've been absorbed in the investigation. Come in. My assistant enters the office. Dr. Rayford has arrived to drop off the blood samples and she wants to talk to you. Already? Yes, she's just out the door. Just out the door. I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised at her work speed. All right, send her in. Minnie nods. She returns to the reception area. Dr. Florence Rayford enters. It has been only 3 years since she has worked at this university, but she has proven her reliability more often than not. Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Rayford hands over the blood samples. She also gives me her lab report. Here you go. Thank you. So what have you found? The most peculiar thing is that there's no iron in one of the blood samples. Say, is this fairy related? Her question prompts me to ask myself, to what extent of the case can I divulge to her? Theo did say that I may ask the patron or her for information using some of the evidence. Although she has knowledge of fairies and their curses, can she handle seeing crime scene photos? As I return from my thoughts, I notice her voice is taken on a higher pitch. This is so exciting! Are you working with the police? Does this mean that we'll get better credibility in the eyes of the public? Oh my, we're going to be in newspapers, aren't we? And not on the usual corner spots, too. Oh, I can hardly contain myself. It appears she took my silence as yes. It's good that she's excited about the possibility of advancement for Faeology, but her cheerful disposition can sometimes be rather overstimulating. As if on cue, a knock on the door arrived to spare me. This specific sound is familiar, more familiar than when my assistant knocks. Special delivery. Oh, hi, Oscar. Mr. Henkel's hands are empty. And what, pray tell, might you be bringing for me? Is it you? Are you the special delivery, Mr. Henkel? If you wish to call me special, then I certainly won't stop you. Sir. Stop. But I did bring a box of huckleberry muffins for your office. Minerva was instantly enamored by their buttery scent. She's currently feasting on them. We can only hope she'll leave a muffin apiece for the rest of us. Oh, hello there, Florence. I didn't expect to see you in this office. Hello, Mr. Henkel. Fancy seeing you here. Although you do have a habit of making this office your sole stop on campus. She chuckles. That's just because this is where all my money went. A well-spent investment, nonetheless. He makes a retort at Dr. Rayford, but throws a subtle smile in my direction. How cheeky. So, Florence, what's been occupying your time as of late? She looks at me briefly, possibly wondering whether she should tell him about what she did for me. The usual matters, I suppose. I tried asking your father about you at the last soiree. However, he confessed he didn't have the faintest idea. You must tell me more about your chemical research one of these days. The colorful pursuits of you young academics thrill me to no end. You know I can't share all that much, Mr. Henkel. Unless, of course, you find yourself in the position to become the chemistry department's benefactor, then all their secrets are yours. A more playful giggle escapes her lips this time. I'm afraid I'm all tapped out, financially speaking. Oh, I'm not buying that one, not for a second. He's telling fibs, isn't he, Professor? Well, now I certainly don't want to get in the middle of the money talk of the rich. I wish I had that information, Doctor. It would make proposing for research much easier, with a bit of delicate leverage, naturally. Mr. Henkel laughs in amusement. I feel I should ask the reason he's here before this conversation takes an odd turn. On another note, Mr. Henkel, did you get my letter? Is that the real reason you dropped by? Upon recalling that I asked Oz to insert the letter into his mailbox only this afternoon, I'm about to retract these questions. Unexpectedly, though, he bows his head in assent. Your words have always had this immersive impact on me. Perhaps that is why you were such an effective educator. Whenever I encounter your written language, I long to hear it spoken post-haste. Sir, please, stop. Are you putting a spell on your letters by any chance? Sir, that was not smooth. That was not smooth. There was nothing smooth about that. I think you're the one with all the spells, Mr. Henkel. Your muffins, for one, have always been successful in getting Minnie's guards down. Oh dear, you two are making me blush. I suppose it's time I take my leave and let you both be. I'm due somewhere shortly anyhow. Florence, please don't leave me. Oh no, that might not be necessary. I can't stay long either. Mr. Henkel lapses into silence as he continues staring into my eyes. It's difficult to maintain eye contact with him, but even harder to look away. I wonder what I should do. I ought to discuss the case, but both of them seem to be in a hurry. Should I tell Mr. Henkel to return another day since I need to have an important conversation with Dr. Rayford right away? Or should I dismiss the chemist and meet with my patron now? There are benefits to either choice. Soliciting Dr. Rayford's opinion on the case may be a good idea. She could share more insight on the chemistry side of the case. Her parents own a successful company that produces the powder makeup and evidence. She would also know the social happenings among the wealthy elites. On the other hand, Mr. Henkel is also a viable candidate for an interview. His connections within high society know no bounds. Everybody seems to know him one way or another. He might know things Dr. Rayford doesn't. Since he has been funding my research for a long time, he's also more familiar with fairy topics. Whom should I interview? We'll go with the doctor. Dr. Rayford, would you mind staying a little longer? I'd like to hear your opinion on something. Dr. Rayford glances at me, then at Mr. Henkel, then back at me with a glimmer of mischief in her smile. Are you sure, Professor? I let out a resigned sigh. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to deal with her teasing. Yes. When I address my patron once more, regret colors my tone. Mr. Henkel, would you mind coming back another day? I have something crucial to discuss with the doctor at present. Of course. I understand your scientific pursuits precede all else. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for dropping off those muffins. Yellow replies with a smile. I'll see you soon, right? As soon as possible. I promise. Mr. Henkel and Dr. Rayford exchange brief goodbyes. My patron then departs. I'm alone with the chemist again. But let's see what happens next time, my sweets. Cliffhanger! Thank you all so much for joining me. If you like what you saw, by all means smash the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll catch you back here for more shenanigans and insanity and general gremlin activity. Until then, my loves, you take care of yourselves. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.